It seems these days that having a YouTube channel is all but mandatory to share your experiences with the internet, with your community, and with the world. While there's a lot of nonsense and pointless activity on the internet, I think I can justify making this YouTube channel. Before I begin, let me reference a couple of television shows. I think you might have heard of them. Star Trek. First, we'll talk about Star Trek, then Next Generation, finally Deep Space Nine. So let me introduce us Star Trek. Star Trek was an incredible show for fans of futurism and for your everyday nerd. It was popular enough that they made The Next Generation, which was actually a decent show and polished up the trail that was blazed by the original Star Trek series. After that, they made the last Star Trek show that I watched, which was Deep Space Nine. The reason I stopped watching Star Trek was because Deep Space Nine took a really interesting idea of a spaceship that travels around the galaxy getting in adventures and decided to convert that idea into a space gas station and wait for the adventures to come to the space station. Obviously, this did not work well. And they added a little space scooter so they can go find some random nearby adventures. Ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to introduce YouTube Deep Space Nine. I don't have the resources to go on adventures at the moment, but I do have the good fortune of having a lot of adventures that seem to somehow just happen to me. Right now, I am deeply immersed in an incredible adventure. I'm living in Nagasaki, Japan. I'm a student at Nagasaki University in the School of Tropical Medicine and Global Health. I'm trying to get a degree in global healthcare innovation. This is an incredible ordeal. And every day I learn a lot. That being said, I have a lot to learn. Let me bring up one more movie. There's a movie called Lawrence of Arabia. I have not read Seven Pillars of Wisdom. I don't know the real history of Thomas Edward Lawrence, but there was a scene in the movie that I found some inspiration. Lieutenant Lawrence was talking to either Sheriff Ali or Prince Faisal, I do not remember. And he's proposing a daring and rather unrealistic attack against a well fortified city. It seems unrealistic, but to persuade the non believers, he argued that while we are under equipped and undermanned, more people and more equipment might join us on the way if we try this daring task, which, according to the movie, is exactly what happened. I mention that because take a look at this video. Obviously, I did not invest a lot in the set. The lighting is not what I want it to be. The video quality, the sound quality are not where I would hope them to be. But if I put this video up today, hopefully I will gain more support tomorrow. And I think that's where I want to start with my introduction. You can call me Alonzo. And my interest in building this channel is that I learn a lot every day. And I would like to share what I learn with the people who are watching this channel. This is a unique experience that I think is worth recording. Obviously, it's not the most important thing on the internet. I'm sure any number of dancing videos would far outclass this in terms of value, but it is unique. And I should mention that I'm making this really to document my life and my studies mostly my studies in Nagasaki. Really, the reason I wanted to publish this is because this has become an incredible ordeal. And while it's very valuable to me, there is a lot I still need to learn to make this work. Here's where Deep Space Nine comes in. Usually, you'll see YouTube channels where the whole goal is education. And I expect this is going to become an educational YouTube channel, but I'm throwing it a little backwards. I will throw out what I think I have learned, and I'm going to be doing this knowing that I'm making mistakes. You are going to be my teachers. So those places where I make a misstep, where I made a mistake, I'm going to try to submit as much as I can the process that I went through to come to my conclusions, share with you as much as I know, so you can point out where I, in fact, made a mistake. In other words, this is not an educational channel. This is a learning channel. The education will come to me, and I will share it as much as I can with anyone else who's interested in learning. My expectation is that this YouTube channel will have several different things. From time to time, I'll show you bits and pieces of just life in Japan and life in Nagasaki. Maybe just a trip to the sports stadium, or maybe a trip to the ocean, things like that. But I expect that very soon there will be very interesting people who will be willing to volunteer their time and share their experiences with myself and with you. What I mean by that is this program invites some of the most intelligent and talented and experienced healthcare workers from across the globe. Some of them are very outgoing, and they are all very kind. If I can talk them into sharing their experience, I'm going to be very excited to be sharing that information with you here on this channel. So there'll be the occasional videos about life in Nagasaki and in Japan, hopefully quite a few interviews with other people working in this field. And something I expect to have a lot of is my presentation of scholarly journal articles. So things that are up and coming in healthcare and medicine. I'm going to share those as far as my understanding takes me with you for you to give your feedback and your commentary on. There's a lot of very interesting things happening in healthcare these days. I'm sure you're aware of some of it with the last 3 years. And this is the cutting edge. Be prepared for that. There will be the occasional bit of healthcare and public health news that I want to share with you, but I will do my best to avoid not to speak about things I do not know anything about. I can present questions sometimes that are more intelligent than the average person on the street, but I do not have the expertise to do much more than that. Understand what I'm doing right now, as far as being in school, is the fusion of three different disciplines. It's healthcare, things like epidemiology and preventive medicine. It's innovation, so things like artificial intelligence and its impact on healthcare, as well as biotechnology or biomedicine, um, biochemistry. I was talking very recently with someone about CRISPR-Cas9. There are things that are going to be changing the world very soon. But there's something to be mentioned about the discipline of travel. It's global health, and I'm in a global health program. That global part is relevant, being that I am an American and I'm living in Japan. I'm sure there are people who are going to be curious about my life, and I will share as much as I can without coming off as ignorant or uninformed. So I think at this time, I should give you a little bit of a preview of what you can expect to hear about soon. We're going to be talking about artificial intelligence in medicine in our next recording. And I think with that, I should wrap this up. I don't want to have a half hour or hour long video every time I post. So, in conclusion, you can call me Alonzo, and I look forward to getting your feedback very soon. Thank you. Have a nice day.